So Geraldo Rivera, who recently left Fox News, went on The View, and they're going to have an interesting back and forth here that I'm excited to share with you. Now, before I do, let me just say, sometimes The View is like, they're like copyright sharks, and so I don't know how long this video will be up. I don't know if they're going to jack the revenue or if they're going to just pull down the video entirely. So do me a big favor. Click subscribe to the channel, please, and then also consider supporting on Patreon. Links in the video description box below, or just leave a tip through YouTube. There's the thanks button below for that. Because again, I don't know. I'm sort of rolling the dice here a little bit with the impact on the channel by playing this clip. The View has come after me and anybody who covers a video of theirs before, so I don't know if this will work out. Anyway, so Geraldo Rivera goes on The View, and they're talking about Trump and Biden and, you know, the various investigations into Trump and the indictments, etc. And there's an interesting point that I want to think about for a little bit here. Let's watch.
You said that Biden should pardon Trump.
Right.
If he makes the deal to not run for the presidency.
I believe that.
What makes you think that even if he pardoned him, this guy would disappear? He's like, you know, he's here forever.
Well,
he's never going to go away.
He's already been impeached a couple of times. I want, you know, him to move on in his life. He had a pretty good presidency. I know that a lot of people don't want to admit that, but
it's not that we don't want to admit it. It's that it's fundamentally not true. He had a good presidency. Based on what? What's his biggest legislative accomplishment? A giant tax cut for the wealthy. What else did he do? Oh, I don't know. Assassinated random Iranian commanders who were fighting ISIS. What else? Destroyed the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which had returned billions of dollars to defrauded Americans. Like, what are you talking about? How's it successful? All right, anyway, let's continue. That's a side point.
But I think he had a pretty good presidency.
But wouldn't that have him admit that he's a criminal if he says he's being pardoned?
But if he's pardoned by Biden, then I think everyone could come together again.
If he's pardoned by Biden, everybody will come together. Yeah, that seems like it's right in line with how America functions. We have our disagreements, but we hold hands and sing Kumbaya at some point. Jesus Christ.
I just think, you know what I want? I want him to cop to the fact that he broke the law, that he did things.
I don't think that would happen.
Well, I don't think it, and that's why I don't think he should get pardoned. Because someone who doesn't say, you know, I recognize.
I remember a guy who could have fired me on Celebrity Apprentice and didn't. I hate to make it so.
But
that's the same reason people voted for
I know.
It's not about you.
I apologize for my.
It was a joke.
My
Anywho.
All right, so that's the gist of it. So look, the main part I wanted to talk about was the deal that he laid out. I think we talked about this once before, but I wanted to bring it up again. The idea that Biden should pardon him if Trump agrees, I'm going to drop out of the presidential race. You know, I'll go to Mar-a-Lago, I'll play golf every day. You know, I'll rake in that Saudi cash by having the live golf events at my courses. You know, ride off into the sunset, making tens of millions or hundreds of millions of dollars for doing nothing and waking up every day and playing golf. So the question is that something Biden should consider? Is that something Biden should do? And I got to be honest with you guys, I'm a little torn on that question. So part of me says, hell no. Hell no. Why? Because he's committed so many crimes, and a lot of these investigations are actually off to a good start. There's a lot of indictments. There appears to be a lot of evidence of guilt. You know, we've gone through the charges with a fine-tooth comb, and you guys know which ones I think are the stronger cases and which ones I think are the weaker cases and why. But ultimately, he is sort of in a position where if he was anybody else, if his name wasn't Donald Trump, it's a wrap, son. Like, he's done. He's being found guilty. And then the question is, what's going to happen? Right now, unfortunately, there is no minimum for all the charges he's facing. It's not like he has to face jail time. It's not like he has to face jail time. But if they want to, they could throw the book at him and he can get plenty of time in prison, right? So the question is, would you take that deal? Would you take the deal of Biden will pardon you, or even just make a deal with the prosecutors? Like, look, we won't go for jail time, but we only won't go for jail time if you drop out of the presidential race. Now, Crystal's point on this, which she's made a number of times, is like, I think that just feeds the right-wing paranoia because they view it as a political witch hunt anyway, and this will sort of verify the idea that it's a political witch hunt because you're saying if you stop running politically, then, you know, all this goes away. I understand that point. I think there's a good argument there, but at the same time, I don't care. Because if he actually just gets out of the race and he's not going to become president again, then that's a net benefit. That's a net positive. And it prevents us from facing what might be inevitable in the future, which is if he wins the presidency again, what the hell is going to happen, right? If he wins the primary but loses the presidency, he's going to go around saying, I won the presidency, and he's going to put the country through a whole bunch of hell again, and it's going to be the same thing as like stop the steal and rigged election the last time around, and are our institutions strong enough to hold again, or is it like we're flirting with disaster here, and eventually this is all going to backfire? I don't know the answer to that, which is why I think getting him out of the picture might be preferable. It might be preferable. You know, even if it's a deal, even if it feeds the right-wing paranoia, as long as his ass is not in the White House again and he takes his name out of consideration for that, I kind of look at that and go, I might take that deal. I might take that deal. So I'm curious what you guys think on this. I'm very curious because on the one hand, like the principled stance is, no, you break the law, you go to prison, you deserve it. And I agree with that. But also at the same time, you got to realize every post-World War II U.S. president is a criminal. Every single one. And none of them got any justice. And so it might be a situation where Trump won't see any justice either. In fact, if the trend holds true, he won't see any justice either. So in the interim, if the best you can get is, I'll pardon you from any wrongdoing, or we won't look for jail time for the prosecutors if you drop out, I might take that deal. So I would put my thinking on it at exactly 50-50. I would put it at exactly 50-50. And perhaps there's some arguments on one side or another side that I haven't really fully considered, which could sway me in one direction or another. So I'm curious what all you guys think. Put it in the video, not the video description box, excuse me. Put it in the comment section below. Tell me what your thoughts on it are. I don't think the country will come together. That's not the point of doing it. The point of doing it would be just to make sure his ass does not end up in the White House again, because he clearly showed he doesn't respect rule of law or peaceful transition of power or any of that stuff. And I don't want to have to go through all that garbage again if he loses. And if he wins, I don't want to have to sit through another 4 years of his horrendous policies, which are insane tax cuts for the rich and war abroad and complete instability at home. So anyway, curious what do you guys think? Put it in the comment section below. And definitely gives me a lot to think about here. Because part of me says, hell no, I would never make that deal with him. He deserves to be in prison. And the other part of me says, just let's guarantee he doesn't get in the White House first and foremost. And so anything you can to get to that conclusion is preferable. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.